the arrival. The Deep Space Monitoring Station on Europa was the first to detect them. 9,900 vessels, arranged in perfect formation, moving as one unstoppable force toward the inner solar system. Lieutenant Sarah Kim stared at the holographic display, her mouth suddenly dry. There was no mistake, it was the largest invasion fleet ever recorded in human history. "Get me a direct line to Earth Defense Command," she ordered, her voice steady, despite the fear creeping up her spine, "and initiate Protocol Omega." Across the void of space, aboard the Krex flagship Sovereign Dominion, Supreme Commander Vexar stood with 6 limbs clasped behind his back, compound eyes reflecting the blue-green orb growing larger on the main view screen. Earth. The latest target in the Krex Imperium's relentless expansion. "Status report," Vexar demanded, his exoskeleton gleaming under the bridge lights. "All 9,900 warships in perfect alignment, Supreme Commander," his second-in-command, Trell, responded. "Weapons primed, shields at maximum capacity. The humans have detected our approach as expected." Vexar's mandibles clicked together in what passed for a smile among his species. "Excellent. Their detection changes nothing. Have they sent any transmissions yet?" "No, Supreme Commander. Only internal communications. Their military assets are mobilizing, but primitively. We detect nuclear weapons and rudimentary energy shields. Nothing that poses any threat to our armada." Vexar nodded. This was precisely what the Krex intelligence had reported. Earth was a Class 3 civilization, nuclear-capable but pre-interstellar. The conquest would be swift. Another jewel in the ever-expanding Krex Imperium. 28 worlds had fallen before them. Earth would be the 29th. Begin the standard approach. Establish orbit and initiate first contact protocols. The humans will surrender within 1 planetary rotation. On Earth, in the underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains known only as the Hive, Dr. Maya Reynolds watched as tactical displays tracked the incoming fleet. Around her, military officers and civilian scientists worked with practiced efficiency, their faces illuminated by screens showing the approaching threat. "They're right on schedule," General Victor Okafor said, stepping beside her. "Your predictions were accurate down to the minute." Maya nodded, tucking a strand of silver-streaked black hair behind her ear. "The Krex are nothing if not methodical. 28 conquered worlds follow the same pattern. They arrive, demonstrate overwhelming force, and demand surrender." "And what happens when we don't surrender?" asked the general. Maya's dark eyes remained fixed on the screens. "That's where they break pattern. That's where our advantage lies." 6 hours later, the Krex fleet established high Earth orbit, their massive ships blocking out the stars across the night sky. Cities worldwide fell into shadow as the Armada positioned itself strategically above major population centers. It was a psychological tactic the Krex had perfected. Let the prey see the predator, understand its power, feel hopelessness before the first strike. On the Sovereign Dominion, Vexar prepared for the formal declaration. Open a channel to their global communication network. Across Earth, every screen, television, computer, mobile device, suddenly displayed the alien commander. Vexar's insectoid features filled screens worldwide, sending ripples of panic through unprepared populations. "People of Earth," the translation software converted his clicks and chirps into human language. "I am Supreme Commander Vexar of the Krex Imperium. Our 9,900 warships now control your orbital space. Your primitive weapons cannot harm us. Your planet's resources belong to the Imperium now. Surrender within 6 hours, and your species will be permitted to live under Krex guidance. Resist, and we will reduce your civilization to ash." The transmission ended, leaving billions in stunned silence. In the Hive, Maya turned to General Okafor. "Right on script. Initiate. Operation Trojan Horse." "Oh, are you certain?" the general asked. "Once we reveal what we have, we've had decades to prepare, Victor. Since the Arcturus incident, it's time to show the Krex what humanity has been hiding." The general nodded and entered his authorization code into the terminal. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations hummed to life. In the Kuiper Belt, beneath the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, in stealth facilities on Mars, and in seemingly abandoned mines on Earth's moon, humanity's real defense grid awakened. On the Krex flagship, the mood was almost celebratory. Previous conquests had taught them what to expect: panic, futile military responses, hasty diplomatic overtures, and ultimately, surrender. Supreme Commander, Trell reported, the humans have requested communication. Put them through, Vexar ordered, mandibles twitching in anticipated victory. Instead of the panicked government official he expected, a composed woman with silver-streaked black hair appeared on screen. I am Dr. Maya Reynolds, Director of Earth's Defense Initiative. We've been expecting you, Commander Vexar. Vexar tilted his head, momentarily confused by her calm demeanor. Then you understand the futility of resistance. Your surrender is wise. Maya smiled. I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding. We're not contacting you to surrender. Then you have chosen extinction, Vexar responded coldly. A regrettable waste. Before you attempt anything hasty, Maya continued, you might want to check your long-range sensors. You see, what you believe is a primitive civilization is merely what we've allowed to be seen. Vexar gestured to his tactical officer, who immediately began scanning the system. The officer's posture changed instantly, antennae standing rigid in alarm. Supreme Commander, we're detecting energy signatures. Thousands of them, emerging from concealed positions throughout the solar system. Impossible, Vexar hissed, moving to the tactical display. What he saw defied all Krex intelligence on Earth. Hidden installations were powering up across the solar system, revealing a defense network far beyond what a Class 3 civilization should possess. As I said, Maya continued calmly, we've been expecting you. For 50 years since your scout ships first visited our solar system, what you call the Arcturus incident, we've been preparing. We detected your long-range probes. We intercepted your communications. We studied your technology from salvaged components, all while presenting the facade of a developing nuclear civilization. On the tactical display, a new wave of signals appeared, ships emerging from concealed docks on Mars, the Moon, and several asteroids. Not thousands, but hundreds, yet each emitting energy signatures that rivaled the Krex warships. You've been deceived, Commander, Maya said. Earth is not what you thought. We could have contacted the galactic community decades ago, but we chose isolation for precisely this reason, to prepare for threats like you. This is your only warning. Leave Earth space immediately or face the consequences. Vexar's compound eyes narrowed. This had to be a bluff. Even with hidden technology, no civilization could stand against 9,900 Krex warships. Your deception is admirable but futile. Perhaps you have some advanced technology, but nothing that can match our numbers. Tactical. Target their lunar installations. Show them the consequence of defiance. Targeting lunar defense station, the tactical officer confirmed. Firing main cannons. Brilliant beams of energy lanced out from 20 Krex warships converging on the lunar surface. But before they reached their target, the beams seemed to bend and dissipate, absorbed by an invisible barrier. What happened? Vexar demanded. Unknown, Supreme Commander. The energy was redirected somehow. Maya's expression remained unchanged. That was your demonstration. Now here's ours. From Earth's moon, a pulse of blue-white energy erupted. It wasn't directed at any ship, but rather spread throughout the space occupied by the Krex Armada. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then alarms blared across the Krex fleet. Supreme Commander, our engines are offline. Weapons systems failing. Something is disrupting our power grid. Vexar turned to the view screen where Maya Reynolds watched calmly. What have you done? Quantum field disruption, she answered simply. Your ships are temporarily disabled. Consider it a courtesy, proof that we could destroy you if we wished. Now, I'll repeat my offer. Leave our solar system and never return, or we will be forced to take more permanent measures. Fury coursed through Vexar's system. In centuries of Krex expansion, no species had ever held the upper hand, even momentarily. This was unprecedented and unacceptable. Reroute all power through auxiliary systems, he ordered. Prepare for full-scale attack. The humans appear to have technology far beyond our intelligence reports, Trell advised cautiously. Perhaps we should. We are the Kreks. Vexar cut him off. 9,900 warships do not retreat before a deceptive primitive world. Ready all weapons. As emergency systems came online across the Kreks fleet, Vexar prepared to teach humanity a lesson in true power. What he didn't realize was that Maya Reynolds and Earth's Defense Initiative were just getting started. The first real blow came without warning. 300 Krek ships on the Armada's outer perimeter simply vanished from tactical displays. Report, Vexar demanded. They're gone, Supreme Commander. The tactical officer responded, voice trembling. No debris, no energy discharge. They've been removed from spacetime. Before Vexar could process this impossible information, Maya spoke again. That was our actual demonstration, Commander. Your ships haven't been destroyed, merely relocated to a containment dimension. Their crews will be unharmed and eventually return to your homeworld. This is still a warning. The next phase will not be so merciful. For the first time in his long military career, Supreme Commander Vexar felt something alien to his species' psychology: doubt. The reckoning as alarms blared throughout the sovereign dominion. Supreme Commander Vexar faced a situation no Kreks commander had encountered in centuries of conquest: the prospect of defeat. 300 ships gone in an instant, with no explanation his science officers could provide. Status report, he demanded, 6 limbs gripping his command chair. 300 vessels confirmed. Displaced, Trell reported, struggling to find the appropriate term. Communications impossible. Remaining fleet experiencing cascading systems failures. Quantum disruption field is spreading. On the main view screen, Dr. Maya Reynolds waited, patiently. Your decision, Commander? I won't offer again. Vexar's pride warred with his tactical mind. No species had ever successfully resisted the Kreks, let alone gained the upper hand. Yet the evidence before him was undeniable. Somehow Earth possessed technology far beyond their supposed development stage. This deception changes nothing, Vexar declared, mandibles clicking in controlled rage. You may have hidden capabilities, but no civilization can stand against our full might. Your lunar demonstration affected only a fraction of our fleet. The remaining ships are more than enough to reduce your world to cinders. Maya sighed. I was hoping for rationality. Very well. She looked off-screen and nodded to someone. Implement, Phase 2. The communication ended abruptly. Prepare all functional vessels for coordinated attack, Vexar ordered. Target their planetary defense installations first, then population centers. Trell's antennae twitched nervously. Supreme Commander, perhaps we should reassess. Execute my orders, Vexar snapped. The Kreks do not retreat. Throughout the vast armada, warships began repositioning, their weapon systems powering up despite the disruption field. Vexar would show these deceptive humans the true meaning of overwhelming force. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Maya Reynolds turned away from the communication screen. Around her, the command center of the hive hummed with activity as military personnel and scientists monitored the Kreks fleet's movements. They're repositioning for attack, reported Admiral Chen, studying the holographic display. Targeting solutions forming. Maya nodded. As expected. Pride is the universal constant, it seems. Activate the Helios network. Throughout the solar system, concealed satellites emerged from stealth mode. Positioned strategically since the first hints of the Kreks' arrival decades ago, the Helios network represented humanity's true defensive capability, technology that had been kept hidden even from Earth's general population. In high Earth orbit, the Kreks Armada began its attack run. Thousands of energy weapons charged simultaneously, preparing to overwhelm whatever defenses the humans might possess through sheer volume of fire. Weapons at maximum charge, reported the Kreks tactical officer. Firing solutions complete. Fire, Vexar commanded. 9,000 beams of destructive energy lanced toward Earth. For a heartbeat, It seemed nothing could prevent devastation on an unprecedented scale. Then, the impossible happened. A shimmering barrier materialized in the path of the incoming barrage. Not a solid shield, but a complex lattice of energy that seemed to exist partially in another dimension. As the Krek's weapons struck this barrier, their energy didn't dissipate or reflect. Instead, it was absorbed, channeled, and redirected. "Incoming!" screamed the tactical officer as the Krek's own energy, amplified and focused, returned to its source. Across the armada, 800 ships erupted in cascading explosions, as their own weapons fire, enhanced and redirected, tore through their hulls. The carefully ordered formation dissolved into chaos as burning vessels collided with each other, creating a chain reaction of destruction. On the Sovereign Dominion, Vexar watched in horror as his magnificent fleet disintegrated before his eyes. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "Supreme Commander," Trell urged, "we must retreat. Whatever technology they possess, it far exceeds our capabilities." Before Vexar could respond, Maya Reynolds contacted him again. This time her expression was harder, her patience clearly exhausted. "That was 1% of the Helios Network's capability," she stated flatly. "Your attack killed no one. We absorbed your energy and returned it. Efficient. Wouldn't you agree?" Vexar stared at the human woman who had just overseen the destruction of 800 Krek's warships. "What are you?" he finally asked. "We are humanity," Maya replied simply. "For centuries we fought ourselves, nearly destroyed our own planet multiple times. When we detected your scout ships 50 years ago, we realized we weren't alone, and likely not safe. So we unified. We redirected our talent for warfare toward defense. We buried our true technological progress under a facade of primitive development." She leaned closer to the screen. "While your empire was busy conquering other worlds, we were preparing for this exact moment. Your intelligence failed you, Commander. Earth is not a Class 3 civilization. We're something you don't have a classification for." As if to emphasize her point, another wave of energy rippled out from Earth. This pulse was different, more focused, more deliberate. It swept through the remaining Krek ships, and where it passed, technology failed. Propulsion systems, weapons, life support, all reverted to their most basic functions. "We've neutralized your remaining vessels," Maya explained. "They retain minimal life support and communication capabilities, but nothing more. Your conquest ends here." Vexar, Supreme Commander of the greatest fighting force the Kreks had ever assembled, found himself utterly defeated. Not in glorious battle, but by a species that had anticipated every move, countered every advantage. "Our empire stretches across 17 star systems," he said, a last attempt at intimidation. "When word of this reaches the Imperium, they will receive a very clear message," Maya interrupted, "along with detailed scans of your fleet's technology, which we've now fully analyzed and countered. The message is simple. Earth is off limits." The view screen split, showing Vexar a new image. Thousands of satellites emerging from stealth mode throughout the solar system, a defense network spanning from Mercury to the Kuiper Belt. Each satellite emitted energy signatures that dwarfed even the Krek's flagship. "This was never going to be a fair fight, Commander," Maya continued. "Not because you brought too many ships, but because you brought too few. The Helios network could handle 10 times your number. The quantum displacement field could remove your entire fleet from normal spacetime." She paused, allowing the reality to sink in. "But we're not conquerors. We don't seek to destroy when we can deter. So here are your options. 1,000 of your ships, including your flagship, will be permitted to leave with minimal propulsion restored. The rest remain here, their crews held in stasis until diplomatic relations can be established with your Imperium." "And if I refuse?" Vexar asked, though he already knew the answer. "Then none of your ships will leave, and the Kreks will never know what happened to their greatest armada." Maya's expression softened slightly. "Choose wisely, Commander. This could be either the beginning of a costly conflict or the first step toward something more constructive." For the first time in his military career, Supreme Commander Vexar recognized the wisdom of retreat. Not surrender, never surrender, but strategic withdrawal. I accept your terms, he said finally. 1,000 ships will depart. But know this, human. The Krex Empire does not forget. Neither does humanity, Maya replied. Safe journey, Commander. As the communication ended, Vexar turned to survey his shattered bridge. Crew members moved in shocked silence, processing their unexpected defeat. The mighty Krex Armada, reduced to refugees fleeing with their lives, set course away from this system, he ordered quietly, and prepare a full report for the Imperium. As the 1,000 remaining ships limped away from Earth, their hulls scorched and systems barely functional, Vexar stood at the observation port, watching the blue-green planet recede. Something new stirred within him, not just defeat or humiliation, but curiosity. How had they known? How had they prepared so perfectly? In the hive, Maya Reynolds watched the Krex departure on the tactical display. General Okafor approached, offering a rare smile. Congratulations, Doctor. Operation Trojan Horse worked perfectly. Maya nodded, but her expression remained somber. This was just the beginning, Victor. They'll be back. If not the Krex, then someone else. The universe just learned that Earth isn't what it appears to be. And we'll be ready, the general assured her. We'll have to be. Maya looked at the display showing the stasis fields containing the captured Krex ships. Now, the real work begins. Understanding them, learning their weaknesses and strengths, preparing for whatever comes next. As the last Krex vessels disappeared from the solar system, Maya turned to face the assembled command staff. Send word to the Council. Phase 3 begins now. It's time humanity took its place in the galactic community, on our terms. Across the stars, in the heart of the Krex Imperium, news would soon arrive of an unprecedented defeat. 9,000. 900 ships had set out to conquer a supposedly primitive world. Only 1,000 returned, and with them came a message, a warning to the galaxy at large. Earth was not to be underestimated again. In the vast database of galactic civilizations, Earth's classification would need to be updated. Not Class 3, not Class 2. Something new entirely. Humanity had arrived on the cosmic stage, not with peaceful overtures or diplomatic missions, but with a decisive demonstration of power that could not be ignored. The species that had nearly destroyed itself countless times had channeled that same capacity for violence into an impenetrable defense. The stars would never look quite the same again.